We're now going to talk about the Hart. This is the other big one for the Avs fans. We kind of sandwiched them at the front in the beginning. McKinnon lost out in 2017. He's back in the running. He just keeps on being nominated for it. You know, he's a real deserving player. Does he win it, John? I know you told me off the air that he is your your pick for the Hart.
Yes, he's
Go
my
ahead and
guy this
explain.
year.
Nice. So what do you think elevates him?
There's one stat that I've seen this year that makes me pick McKinnon over everyone else. He had 43 more points than anyone else on the team.
Yeah, over Cale Makar.
The second was a rookie defenseman.
Yes, he had 93 points this year. Makar was second on the team with 50. Yep. McKinnon put the team on his back this season and not just brought them to the playoffs, but they were the second best team in the entire Western Conference. No,
and
I don't think it gets more valuable than that. And all the injuries that the Avs had with Landeskog missing time early in the season, Rantanen missing a good chunk of this year, Kadri missing time, Makar missing time, the injuries just piled up, and McKinnon was the only one who just took this team on his back and carried them to being a top team in the league. And I don't think it gets any more valuable than that.
Absolutely, you hit on it there. And yes, personally, I would have McKinnon as my front runner, and actually I would go Panarin second, just because the definition of this award is most valuable to your team. It's not who puts up the most points, which a lot of times that's ends up going that way, which is why I think Draisaitl is going to win it, unfortunately. But Panarin, another guy, absolutely insanely valuable to the Rangers, and elevated them to a status that they could have made a late season push into the playoffs before all the shutdown happened. But like I said, though, I think Draisaitl was going to win it. Just his absolute monstrous point production season is a little bit of that X factor that I think is going to push a lot of these voters over McKinnon and Panarin.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, Zach.
I think McKinnon ends up taking it in the end. Like John touched on that stat, they're trying to stay consistent. The year he lost it to Taylor Hall, you got to give this to McKinnon. Through 50 games, he scored 72 points, which is absolutely outrageous, especially in a time when Rantanen and Landeskog are down for, in a 60-game season, a fourth of your season at 20 games. So what this guy did this year is unreal, and they're trying to stay consistent. You got to pick McKinnon for this one.
Yeah, definitely.
I would totally agree.
And I love McKinnon for the award. I do also think that it goes to Draisaitl. I think the Art Ross is going to be hard to overlook. But the year that McKinnon lost to Taylor Hall, the reason that he lost was because two writers left him entirely off their ballot, instead going for Mikko Rantanen, basically with the explanation that, well, if McKinnon wasn't the most valuable player on the team, how can he be the most valuable player in the league? I think there might be a chance that that happens to Draisaitl this year. That a couple of writers say, you know what, McDavid's the most valuable player on this team, so Draisaitl can't be the most valuable player in the league, and they kind of screw him over a little bit.
That is, in a sense, a principled stance, but when McDavid is hurt for most of the year, or a lot of your team is injured, then it kind of becomes null and void, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
They could steal some votes from each other for sure. So there is definitely a good shot that McKinnon ends up winning this award. But yeah, like Billy said, just an Art Ross, and absolutely running away with Art Ross is a little bit too big of a factor for me here. It scares me a little bit, because I think McKinnon over the last 3 years has been absolutely deserving of this award. Last year Kucherov ran away with it just because of the points production, and McKinnon cannot get that 100-point plateau yet. And
97, 99, 93.
This year he was on track. He ended up getting hurt before the season got paused, and I was like, God dang it, this is another year that McKinnon's not going to get 100. But still, just in terms of point production, and in like the amount of games that he's played is really impressive.
Yeah.
Like a couple of years ago when he was, in my opinion, the Hart Trophy, like should have been the Hart Trophy winner, and Taylor Hall like, stole it from him a little bit. I know that's probably a topic that could cause some heat here, but like in that season he ended up like missing 10 games, and that was his like 97-point year. So if he didn't miss those 10 games, like,
and he missed 5 or 6 last year with his 99 as well. Yeah, so he's been real close.
Get there, but
I want to go back to the stat that both John and Zach talked a little bit about. McKinnon led his team by 43 points. That is the most between 1 and 2 on a team since the 2007-2008 season, when Ovechkin led Backstrom by 50. Funny enough, Backstrom also a rookie that year, similar to Cale Makar, which is a little bit funny. But like that's like that stat, like that is a massive, massive gap.
Yes.
Yeah, and like John had said, I mean, it's not like the Avs were just like an 8th seed. They were the 2nd seed in the NHL, or in the Western Conference, and in my opinion, had a really good shot at overtaking St.
They
Louis.
were pushing for it,
especially with an 82nd game against St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, like I said, but I think Draisaitl is going to win it, but McKinnon would get my vote.